I know what my audience like. I did some independent films with Master P, and a lot of those movies did really well.
I'm ambitious, I'm a hustler. I have my own lane.
That's the thing about comedy. You wake up every day, you don't know if you're funny that day.
All right, we got a lot to talk about today on the show, man. Got some special guests on deck. The Big Zoe Talks, he's coming back. I believe comedian Eddie Bryan is stopping through. We got Roland Martin on deck because we ran out of time the other day. But I'm gonna just get right to it, man. We're gonna hold the headlines for a minute. And this brother right here is an honor and a pleasure for him to be on the show today. I appreciate. I reached out. I'm watching all his moves on social media, and he's continuing to do it. He's been doing it for years and continues to do it. Got some new stuff out. You may have remembered him most recently, Seriously Ignorant News on the Tom Joyner Morning Show. And please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Damon Williams out of Chicago.
There you go.
What's good, fam?
What's up, man?
Oh, man, everything cool. Y'all got sun out there? It's raining like a big
Yeah,
dog.
man. We nice and sunny right now.
Yeah, how you pull that off? You eating? I catch you at a bad time.
No, we are just chilling out in the back, man. Me and my wife been quarantining, continuously, except when I dip out to do my thing. So
Yeah.
this is the first time I did an outdoor interview like this. I felt like I ain't feel like going in the house.
Nah, it's good light, man. The skin is popping, man. You don't look a day over 47, champ.
A day over 47.
That's that good outdoor light skin. How you been, man? What's good with you? I see, you talk about you leave the house when you do your thing, man. I see you like back at it in a major way. I see the Riddle situation is jumping. Like you back on stage and in the mix. Talk a little bit about that and how it is back on stage and in front of people.
Well, we testing the waters, man. Here in Chicago, we're in phase 4, but the people wilding and doing too much, so they might, reverse us back. But right now we can have 50 people in a club as long as it's socially spaced. And so we got Riddle's Comedy Club back up and running. For the meantime, I've been using like my Chi-Town comics because there's plenty of us still here. Actually, next weekend I'm gonna let Sean Larkins come through and do his thing. But we've been having fun with it, man. It's just good to be back, amongst people, even though there's certain people that don't understand that I've been in the house since March. So if I got my mask on and I don't want to hug you and I don't want to dap or take a picture, I'm serious about that. Step up. And some people, oh man, that shit, man, I ain't got that shit. Come here,
Yeah, right.
Some of them is gangsters,
Nah,
I couldn't.
yeah.
I still had to let him do it. One little gangster Rick, he grabbed me up, put me in the headlock. I just had to take it.
Yeah. Muscles all on your forehead. Too much. What is it like in the actual, like, because I haven't been on stage. So when you get there, is the energy different? Is it the same? Is it weird not seeing people mouth move when they laugh because they got the mask on? Like, how is that?
Well, once they're seated and they're close to their own people, they can remove their mask if they so choose to. Because they're 6 feet from each other group. So if you brought your own little cluster of Rona, y'all keep within yourself and Ronanize yourselves.
Yeah.
But it's kind of weird because first of all, my goal is to not do any of my material pre-Rona. So I've been doing, everything that I've written during the pandemic or what I've lived through and such. But every once in a while, you need one of them guaranteed bits to hit. So I'll pull one out, but it's the off, man. Like, I forget part of the punchline or the order of the joke. So I haven't been doing much of that. But it's still better than doing it, online and on Instagram and such.
Yeah, I talk. It's funny that you said that because I talked to quite a few comics that have said the same thing. It's like the stuff pre-Rona, you really just can't do it no more. Like it don't sound right. It's hard to go get it. Mentally, it's hard to like go be like, let me dig that one up because it's a whole different environment now. And it's almost
there's no feedback. It's like it's basically like doing radio. If you're a radio comic or somebody that knows broadcast, then you don't have to rely upon that instantaneous feedback. But you still have at least somebody in the room, unless you like doing night moves by your damn self. So you need that feedback. So what happens is a delay too. So you might have comments coming through, but they way off, so it's throwing your timing off because you're trying to peak and make sure people laugh. And it's a weird time. But you got to figure it out. It is where we are. and the creativity and the craft still has to go
Now you
forward.
talked about Chicago and how you might have to go back under shutdown. Do you think comedy clubs will ever go back to full capacity anywhere?
Oh yeah, and they don't give a damn right
Yeah,
now. The improvs
yeah,
in Texas, Arlington Improv, I understand Gary Owen, and I know they're not coming to work for 50 people. So I think if you have a big enough club, and even if you're a limited capacity, and then it's a matter of personal choice of what people are willing to risk for what they want to do. Some people are at the point where they like, look, we stayed in 3, 4 months, we got to live at some point, and if you're not in that age group that's vulnerable, then the Rona might not kill you, it just might be an inconvenience.
right.
It's some people that feel that. And I feel like since now they're saying it's the 18 to 29-year-olds, all the old heads and already circulated it, so now it's they turn, they out here with the YOLO and shit, and that's why they catching it. So, but then, like I said, it still depends on the severity of it. Some people, it can be a very traumatic situation. I lost my aunt to this situation due to
Mm.
an underlying issue, but my mother and my brother, the host of the show, Jay Deep, they all recovered. Bald head comedian from Chicago, they all recovered. So, you know, anything can get you. And we live in Chicago, so a sneeze is one of our worst fears or less fears because there's a whole bunch of other things going on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And sorry to hear that about your aunt. Knowing that your aunt, you lost somebody to it, does that make it more difficult to write jokes about it?
Now, in life, man, you got to keep living. Regardless of circumstances. In this game, especially, we are, the purveyors of hope and happiness, even in the darkest times. So it's our job to take tragedy and make comedy of it. And I could actually do that, but I haven't to this point in that particular circumstance. But that's what we're here for, man. To bring light to the dark.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now let's talk a quick minute about Chicago, man, and what's really happening out there because I hate to be opinionated on some place where I don't live, and I hate to see other people have opinions on things where they don't live. Like what's really going on out there? Is this a new problem or is it an old problem that's just brought to the surface by the quarantine?
The situation, and let me explain this. First of all, it's violence in every impoverished community. It's crime and
Right.
violence everywhere. We just happen to be in the lead in the news. But in Chicago specifically, it's personal. It's interpersonal conflicts. It's not like you walk down the block and somebody just shoot at you in Chicago. These cats have had beefs back and forth, and now it's retaliatory. Unfortunately, they're not marksmen, so you get children hit and stray bullets go around. Not saying that they should be, proficient at shooting each other. We would hope that they could stop it, but I believe that it's going to take on the ground personal interaction and conflict resolution to stop the violence, and it's like a cycle of retaliation. So sending in 150 troops from Trump is not going to stop the violence. On 4th of July weekend, they added an additional 1,200 cops right in the hot spots where the violence typically happens. We still had 80 or 90 shootings and multiple deaths because they can't prevent it and they can't police it. And the problem is systemic, and it's going to take a generation, I believe, to clear this up. And we have to attack the very young people now to keep them from resorting to this violence when they get to that age.
I'm not going to dwell on it too much, but I just wanted to, somebody that's there, that's from there, because we all get a different story from the outside. But do you think it's just quote unquote these interpersonal actions that's causing the violence, or do you think there's outside elements?
Well, there's been rumor and talk of circumstances where there have been boxes and crates of guns left in alleys on the west side and the south side communities. So it might be, assisted by it, but you still got to have a shooter. You got to have somebody pulling that trigger. And a lot of the things that's been happening, once they do catch the culprits, if they are the true culprits, because Chicago will frame you. So a lot of that going on back in the day. We know what it is. Like I know for a fact, some cats around my mother's neighborhood got shot, and I know for a fact that 3 or 4 of them got taken out after that.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because of what they did, and I know this is how that happened. And I ain't going no deeper into it, but a lot of times it's just that. And of course, if we look at the whole violence and our whole climate of poverty and crime, the lack of opportunity, no vocation, no father figures, and no structure, then you fuel that in a society that's driven to have, capitalist desires and materialistic desires. and then you don't have the means to get material. So if this guy's standing in the way of you getting your rims and your situation, then that guy got to go because we hustling over here. So it's a bigger thing than just gang banging. It's much deeper, but
Yeah.
it's still interpersonal, and it's not like random wild wild west people out shooting. It's just unfortunate that the civilians get caught up in the situation.
All right, let's get off of that. Let's get back to the funny right here on Let's Go Live. I got Damon Williams, man, legendary Chicago comic. You got a project out. I'm watching your clips from your new show on an all-black streaming platform. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, the funny thing, and I'm leaning in so people don't understand. I'm leaning in to hear you better, and it's weird, but we making it work.
Yeah.
You say all black and it's UrbanFlix, so that immediately says or connotates black Netflix is what people would say. But UrbanFlix, their tagline is redefining urban. So it's a multicultural situation with casting of their shows, their series, and their films. And my show is an example of that. We have 24 comedians, but we have comedians from all walks of life. We have multi-gendered, LGBTQ. We have Asian, Hispanic, white, and black. We have Russians. So it's a thing. The cool thing about it, though, and I think the difference in what's been out there, especially for urban comedy, is the sit-down interview. I get a chance to sit down and chop it up with each comedian as part of their set. And you get the backstory and what people have been through. One guy, Jose Raymond, his family migrated here illegally. He talks about that, and now they're legal. They end up going from Mexico to Watts, and then from Watts to Hawaii. And so he had quite a story just telling his whole evolution to become a comic. So I'm really proud of it. UrbanFlix, UrbanFlixTV. It's available free on Apple, so people don't have to pay. But it's also only $3.99 a month. But it is founded by an African American. His name is Herb Kimball. And it's one of our own. So in a situation like Nick Cannon, if I was to say something bogus, I ain't gonna get kicked off the network because Herb's got my back. Right. So we need more of that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, UrbanFlixTV.com. And what's the name of the show?
The show is Laugh Tonight with Damon Williams.
Laugh Tonight. All right. Well, I appreciate that. Hey, man, what do you miss the Tom Joyner experience? Because you did that for a long time, man.
Man, let me explain to you how much I missed the Tom Joyner experience. I grew up on Tom, and not just, when he was syndicated. Tom got his major starts in Chicago. Then he started doing Chicago and Dallas. Then he went nationwide. So he's been part of my life since like third grade. But not having the radio show, like when the pandemic hit, for us not to have a trusted source of information that we can all relate and voice and basically fill off each other and vent through media with Tom would have been great. So now I just talked to Tom personally. He'll call me up because he's going through recovery from he had a stroke and everybody knows that, but he's in rehab and he's doing well. Okay. But he'll call me up and just chop it up about what shows I'm watching online and what's happening on the latest episode of The Chi. So I personally still have, and we and my wife both still have Tom Joyner in our lives, but I think it's a void, and I think it's a shame. So that show was really phased out the way it was. I know this to Ricky Smiley because he's trying to carry the torch, but it's different because that was where Black America went for the voice of what was happening in our country and in our neighborhoods and in our communities politically. If you wanted to get behind a candidate, or if you wanted to go after a corporation that was showing discrimination or bias, we could call Tom jump on it, they come to the table, we kind of square that up. I don't think there's any other station right now or show that has that type of mobilization and is a catalyst for our people.
Man, so when's your show? When's your show coming? That could be
my
it.
Show is out. Oh, you mean my radio show?
Yeah.
That's a pursuit, man. It's just so tricky now because there's only like 2 or 3 conglomerates that control major media. And if you're not in their wheelhouse, then, if they were going to give me a show and the people that I was in, they should have spun off. Me and Sybil should have had a show, and took it and carried the mantle. So it's just a matter of me making my profile higher to the point where I'm more viable, doing that through social media and things like my television show, to get people to say, okay, this guy has a voice that people listen to and gravitate to, and then I'll present a show. I may try to do a weekend joint first, and go from there, like a countdown show or something like that.
Yeah, no, that'd be hot. That would be hot, man. And I'll let you go. We wrap it up. Damon Williams, Chicago's very own. Last time we talked on the fantastic voyage, the cruise, we talked about the fitness tape. You need
I knew you were going to talk about that.
Drop that, and that's how you get that profile up. Because everybody looking at you like, damn, I seen him on TV for the last 32 years. How old is he? You know what I mean? How old is the nigga?
The last 32 years. Hey, I was just talking to my wife about that, and when I was telling her whose show I was doing, I said, Lamar, he's the one who's been trying to, urge us to do that couples fitness thing. So we, during the pandemic, just for fun, we were doing silly stuff, but we were working out a little bit. So I do think that's something that is in the cards for us, and I do appreciate you putting that spark in my mind, man, because I never forgot that. We just hadn't figured out the structure of it.
Yeah, well, we all watch.
She over here. Where you at, baby?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, we out here, man. We away from it all. When things shut down, at first it was cold, so we did some kitchen upgrades and some home improvements. Now I came out here and I stained the deck, and I got the little, blue collar above ground pool over there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Put that back in order. So we back here kicking it like the Clampets, man. We getting it in.
Yeah. What's the wildest thing that's happened since quarantine? Since you've been locked down, what's the wildest thing at the house?
What do you think the wildest thing has happened since the quarantine? I mean, ain't been no wild things because we ain't been out. Let me tell you, we really do. The wildest things happen around here is we got a dog. So right before everything shut down, my wife been talking about dogs all the time, and I was against it. I'm like, I don't want no dogs. The upkeep, we travel too much, all that. Well, they shut all that down, so we got a dog. So it's this cute little Shih Tzu. And I was against it, but now the dog is my best friend. She's jealous because the dog be all up on me, And that's been a really big thing. But I'm glad because it's given us somebody else to talk to when we was first.
There you go. There you go.
I look up and she's in there talking. I think she talked to me. She talked to the dog. In fact, she talked to the dog more than me. I started to put that damn dog out, but that's our new puppy, man. That's the wildest thing that's happened around our household.
That's what's up. Well, hey, man, Damon, I appreciate you taking time out with us, man. Anytime you want to stop through, you're more than welcome. Next time, maybe we can get you and your son on and talk that talk. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, we'll do that thing, man. And then, we can talk social justice. I bring my son with me. He's an activist out here. Let Us Breathe Collective. Y'all look that up. And I just found out that he's going to be profiled in the September issue of the Vanity Fair for his social activism and community organizer. So I want to get that together for him and his sister. And I'm here, brother. I ain't doing nothing. You call me. We can do a weekly feature, Damon on the deck. However you want to go.
Damon on the deck. I like it. We're going to build it. We'll build it. I appreciate you, Jack. I get with you.
Always love, bro. Keep doing your thing.
My man. Damon Williams, y'all.
I don't care if it is a closet. You still looking mad official.